Hi, I'm Andrew Smith with the Virginia Farm Bureau's Governmental Relations Department.
And I'm Stephanie Talon, also with Virginia Farm Bureau Government Relations. Welcome to the second installment of our new video series, Friend of the Farm Chats, where we sit down with legislators who serve on the House and Senate Agriculture Committees and get to know them a little bit better.
And today, Stephanie, we've got Delegate Tony Wilt of the 26th District of the House of Delegates. And Delegate Wilt is from Broadway, Virginia. Delegate, thank you for joining us today. How about starting us off and tell us about yourself and maybe why you first ran for office?
Well, thank you, Andrew. And it's great to see you, Stephanie, Kelly. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to be a part of this series. I think it's vitally important, for us as legislators to have that relationship with you all and for your members to know the work that you all do in Richmond, helping to cover them, if you will. They're home working and don't always have time to come to Richmond on the issues. And so you are a vital link between the people that you represent and me as a legislator. And so thank you for what you do, all the other parts of the year and even taking this on, being creative in these times that we find ourselves in. Life's changed, but life has to go on. And as the farmers well know, but also the legislature and the job that you do as well. But again, back to me, I'm born and raised right here in the 26th House District. I've asked myself, I wonder how many other legislators say that they were born and raised in the district that they represent. That's just a matter of curiosity, but I'm honored to be able to do that. The place that I've called home all my life. I think I have a good relationship. I mentioned earlier when we were talking offline before this about our business, family-owned business that we have here. I think we got a good reputation, and that was one thing that helped me when I decided to run for office. The people I think were receptive in the area that know me, know my dad, my brother, know our company and how we do business. And I like to think that they have a lot of respect from that standpoint. And so that was one of the reasons that I ran. Number one, I felt like I had something to offer the people in the community. There was a connection there. We've dabbled a little bit in farming, but I would no way call myself a farmer. But yeah, I think there's good synergy there. There's good relationship. And that was a desire to serve my community. We have great people. I'm a firm believer in the importance of local government. And I think that's vitally important. That's closest to the people, as we all know that saying. And we had great people in place. So I never really had an opportunity to delve in at the local level. And so when this opportunity to run for a state office presented itself, my wife and I, we talked about it to see if it fit into where the direction we want to go. We prayed about it, and it all came together. And so, just 10 years have flown by just like that.
It's amazing how time flies.
Yeah.
You mentioned you dabbled in farming. Prior to joining the House Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources Committee, did you have any ties to agriculture or forestry?
Well, as I said, we dabbled a little bit. Dad built some poultry houses some years ago. We raised sheep. Had some horses for a while. And so that was about the extent. Of course, so a little bit of, mainly the only crop we did was making hay, pasture, and so forth. And we have some mountain land, did a little bit of forestry management there. Probably the biggest thing, Stephanie, is our relationship. We're in the ready mix concrete business. We're one of the few family-owned ready mix concrete producers in the state of Virginia. A lot of them have integrated with bigger companies. And so we're one of the few left of the family owned. But that's probably our biggest tie with agriculture. My brother committed here a few weeks ago to buy a couple more concrete trucks, and we'll take delivery on those in the spring. One of the things that we do before we make any major improvements, equipment purchases, that kind of a thing, we go talk to the agriculture community. because they're a vital part of the business that we're in. You know, folks maybe don't stop and think about how important concrete is to the agribusiness, but it's very important, and it is to us. You know, and so we find out from, hey, you know, like the poultry folks, you know, what are you looking at next year? What are you going to be building any houses? You're going to be doing this or doing that, and the, you know, from poultry, from, you know, beef, dairy's been you know, doing some expansion around here lately, and so yeah, we talked to all those people to get a feel what they're going to be doing, and so we base a lot of our financial decisions on what the ag community is going to be doing. So yeah, it's pretty close tie to the agricultural community.
That's great, and definitely your district is very much agriculture in the Shenandoah Valley, and you served on the agriculture committee for quite a while. And so I'm often hearing legislators talk about what they've learned from hearing bills and working on issues in the General Assembly. Well, what do you feel like you've learned or gained by serving on the House Agriculture Committee?
That's a good question, Andrew. Especially as we find ourselves in today's political climate. You know, it's crazy. I don't know how else to describe it. But one thing that I've been and I'm still on ag. I'm still on the agriculture committee, and now I'm sitting on the agricultural subcommittee. And so by and large, politically, that the reason that I love it, as you stated, it's very important to the district that I represent here, a portion of Rockingham County, the largest ag producing county in the state. It's critical to our county, but a lot of the issues they don't get as political. Okay, I mean, you know, it's a lot more factual based, and so it's just that blesses me to be on a committee that you're going to argue the facts and not what you think or I think or, you know, somebody's opinion. You know, by and large, the issues that we deal with that I appreciate being on the agriculture committee is just that very fact. You know, you all certainly well know, like environmental issues. You know, that's critical to the agricultural community, and you know, all that stuff goes through, by and large, goes through that committee, and so they can be a challenge, but fortunately, there's a lot of people that come together in the middle that are able to work through the legislation and come up with some solutions that are beneficial to all, and so that's what I've learned is being able to work together with the various groups.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We always appreciate that open line of communication for sure. And you touched on this a little bit already, but can you tell us about your district and how agriculture and forestry fit into it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, agriculture is the leading industry in Virginia, agriculture and forestry. Don't forget the forestry. Can't forget that part. But then and in Rockingham County, which again I don't represent the full county, but a fair portion of it, and so yeah, it's vitally important to the 26th House district, and forestry, not as much as I'd like. I mean, primarily what we see here is private timbering, and so we have a fair amount here in the 26th. We have the national forest. It's critical. Agriculture is absolutely critical to the lifeblood. And I think sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, I was talking about us in the concrete business. Well, you know, how important ag is to that. I think sometimes we tend to so narrowly focus on just the farmer. Well, that's, you know, if they can make money with poultry or you know, dairy or beef or what have you. You know, but we need to look at the ancillary businesses. Somebody has to sell that farmer tires, and somebody has to sell, you know, the tools, and I got to sell them concrete, and somebody has to sell me tires. You know, so the picture gets real big, real quick of all the industry and all the businesses that revolve around that hub that's agriculture.
I really appreciate Delegate focusing also on forestry and reminding people not to forget the importance of their partner industries. So much of the forestry in Virginia is owned by those farmers that operate their farms, and it's a crop that they may not harvest as often, but it is an important part of their operation. As we wind down, we both got another question for you, and I just simply, when you think of agriculture and forestry, what do you first think of? What do you think of?
I think renewable. That's a word that often we hear, as it relates to energy. But farming and Andrew, as you mentioned in the forestry, those are renewable sources right there, and so that's vitally important. Another thing that I think is very, very important that I think of when I think of agriculture is opportunities for youth. Wow, I mean, we can't say enough about the opportunities that it presents to our youth. We see here FFA and 4-H is just huge, and the opportunities our young people. I would love to see more of it, and we have pretty good programs here in our schools to see our kids get at least get a taste of the experiences that are either directly or indirectly related to farm life and agriculture, and it's we need to do more of that. I'd like to see more of that.
That's an excellent point. And Delegate Wilt, my last question for you is either going to be the easiest question of the day or the hardest question of the day. What is your favorite Virginia grown product?
Almonds. So, I planned that because you gave me the question. I thought it was hilarious. I said, yeah, we got to protect those almond farmers. And that's why we couldn't label milk. And then my second answer, I guess, would be the club sandwich, because that encapsulates turkey and pork and beef and dairy and then the grain crops and so forth. And I'm being a little tongue in cheek there as well, Stephanie, but kind of. But really, Virginia, we're just so rich in agricultural products. It's really hard to pick a favorite. I love them all. They sustain us all. There's something there for everyone, even the people that, vegetarians. We got everything they need. And so, all of Virginia products are my favorite.
Fair enough. I think the club sandwich is going to be our most unique answer that we hear throughout this series. You get the award for that. Well, Delegate Wilt, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We greatly appreciate you sitting down with us and getting to learn a little bit more about you. And I love the reminder that, even though there may not be as many actual working farmers in the General Assembly, there are still plenty like yourself who are involved in businesses that tie back into the agriculture industry. So thanks for that reminder. And thanks again for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you all. Thanks for the opportunity.